Hi and welcome to my lesson on pedal point. Now for those who don't know, pedal point comes from pipe organ playing, where the player keeps his foot on a pedal to sustain a note while playing other notes to harmonise with that note. Now with the guitar, we haven't got a pedal of course, but we can leave our finger on one note and sustain that note while the other notes in the chord are changing around it. Now my first example is from Johnny Smith, and we're going to use the index finger as our pedal point. And this is in the key of C. The tune is The Lady is a Tramp. Now it's a little bit of a stretch, and this is what it sounds like. Resolving to that C triad here. Now we're only using 3 notes. Now that first one, it sounds very discordant. Let's focus on these 2 notes here. They're part, this is a G and a B, they're part of E minor. We're doing a classic jazz progression. E minor 7, A 7, D minor 7, G 7, back to C major 7. Now, where are these notes in the chords? Well, the G and the B are in this E minor chord. Now the next chord, this one here, also very discordant. It's got an F sharp and a B flat there. Where are those notes in the chords? Well, we have to play an altered chord here, and rather than the A7th, we're going to play an A13th with a flattened 9th. And that's where we get our B flat from, and our C and our F sharp here. Found in that one. D minor 7th, that's quite straightforward. That's just, you've got your C, F and A from the D minor 7th chord. The next one, it's an F minor triad. We can find those notes, the A flat and the F, in this G 13th flat and 9th. There's your A flat, there's your F. There we go. Resolving back to the C. Now that's an example from Johnny Smith. Now, we can also, rather than use the root here of C, we can play pedal point using an extension of the chord. Now if I'm going to do a 2-5-1 in G, you've got A, D, G, that's your 2-5-1. Let's just continue that. I'm going to use, this is my pedal point, this B, which is the 9th sound. I'm playing an altered chord here. I've got the sharp and 5th there in the A chord, and then we'll come down to the 5 chord, which is D, and this time we're keeping our finger on there. This becomes the 6th note in the D, or the 13th, and then this G 13, leaving my finger on there, then come down to the 6th chord in G, which is this, and E 9th here. So I've taken my finger away, I have to play it like this, and then we're going to finish off with a second 2-5-1, but we're changing our pedal point back to the root note. There's the 2 chord, bit of a stretch down to the A flat major 7. Now that's also known as the tritone sub. For those who are not aware of the tritone sub, it's the 5 chord, which is D. Tritone means 3 tones, so we move it up 3 tones. 1, 2, 3, and you've got this A flat or G sharp. There it is there, but I'm doing the major 7th to keep that pedal point going. And then we're going to play this G instead of with our pinky. We'll go. It's a lovely resolution there, you can hear. Right, so that's using extensions on the top string and then changing the pedal point down to the root. Okay, now on the second string, let's play around in the key of D. I'm going to use substitutes for D, like the relative minor, this B minor 7. So let's go down, playing substitutes. This is like an A minor 6, that's another substitute for D, and then the A flat again. Now we'll change over from our F sharp here pedal point to a D pedal point, because we're going to resolve to the key of D. We're going down in the bass here, notice, with the F sharp bass here, but I'm playing a sharpened 5th. Now down to the F bass, I'm playing an F13th. There's my pedal point still, that 6th note there. Down to the E7th, the 7th note is my pedal point. Now from the E down to an E flat bass with a major 7th, so that it's still my D there, and then resolving to the D. So you can see how that works. Okay, our next example is using the 3rd string, and we'll use our Pinkie. It's in the key of C, and we're going to use a walking bass as in the style of Joe Pass. This will be our C chord, C, E, and another C with our Pinkie there. So we'll just go down, B flat, A, that's your A minor 7th, so it's just an A minor, C, A minor, D7, G7 progression. So let's go through it. There it is. Now you'll see that C there changes relationship with the other chords. Here it's the root note in C, but when we go to A minor 7th, it becomes the minor 3rd, up to the D7th, it becomes the flatted 7th. And then I'm going to a G7 with C, that's the suspended 4th or the 11th note. the major seventh to resolve back to the C. So you can see that changing relationship with the different chords. So the harmony changes, but then the pedal point stays the same. And our last example is a real world example from Johnny Smith. And we're going to use our pedal point again with the Pinkie, but this time we're going to play a little run up. C, and then we've got a pedal point on this C, and we come up with the D minor 7, E flat. That's a diminished sort of chord. Back to the C with an E bass. Here's the example with the backing track as in the original recording. Now you can download the tab from my G drive. Good luck. We'll see you next time.